Hello everyone, it's Sean. I'm doing a little kind of layout update slash just a little vlog for helping people get started in model railroading. First thing I want to touch on is a really cool website for helping to design your layout. It's called Layout Vision. Just Google Layout Vision. It'll be one of the first things that comes up here. Just click on it. It's got a bunch of helpful articles, how-tos, and different things to help you get started. One of my favorites is Tips and Ideas is my favorite page because it has this right here, which maybe, let's see if I can, there. I'll click on it, but it's for the layout design under Tips and Ideas. 4x8 is really a 8x10. This will show you how you can take a 4x8 layout and make it into a room size or just a larger 8x10 or somewhere thereabouts. Uses the same layout design elements as this and makes it much larger, gives you a large radius, more space, and just more comfort and usability. It's nice if you can just sit and kind of turn around a little bit rather than walking all around. If you're operating over here, you've got to go all the way over here to throw a switch or something, it gets a little tedious, I'm not going to lie. I had a layout that was actually a 6x14, similar design as this. My yard was over here, and I had a runaround track that came all the way over here. So if I'm operating over here, I have to walk around 16 feet to get over here, because I've got to walk from one side of the layout to the other. So it was a bit of a pain, and it was just more or less annoying. And I wasn't going to put in electric switches or anything. So this is nice. This is a nice concept, and you can use the same thing just to do a branch layout. So if you just want to do 3 walls or 2 walls, you just get rid of this and you get rid of this, and you can shorten it over to here. Do whatever you want. You do what you need. We've got a lot of stuff over here for the design gallery. It's got some cool stuff. Different ideas in that, in operations as well, for timetables and large crews, small crews, switching, operating. It's got a lot of cool stuff, very helpful. Another thing that's helpful when either buying or planning or doing other stuff is just YouTube. One of my favorite channels for just catching up on what's out there and available. JL We 2000 seems to have some good videos. He's got a lot of stuff. He's always posting. He actually got to do a review on the new ES44 ACs and DCs with Athearn. He's done a lot of stuff. He does compare, and the quality is really really good. I like it. Next, I want to talk about layout design elements a little bit more. We talked about it over here, how you take the 4x8 and get it into a 4x10 with this. Well, let's talk about something a little bit more extravagant here. And let's go like this. Alright. Well, this is my favorite layout plan so far. I've had a lot of favorites, but this now takes the cake. I can fit a good portion of my rolling stock on here and still have plenty of space to comfortably operate. Put a main line out around here, wherever. Put another yard on here. I've got passenger operations. I've got plenty of freight operations. I can run through freights. I can have a full-size freight with 2 or 3 engines on there and have it looking good. But let's see, I've got a grain tower here, grain tower here. I've got some chemical transloading here, and then a cattle feed and processing plant here. This whole facility. Well, now for some that might be great, who have a lot of grain and other stuff, but if you don't mind shuffling through more, you could take this guy out, move this over here into a smaller facility, make this an intermodal yard, and then make this into a team track. I mean, you already have your lumber wholesalers over here, but what about tractors? Maybe you're loading some Case New Holland or John Deere tractors over here, and you've got 2 more industries to add to your layout. If you're like me and you've already got the equipment or the rail equipment to do it, why not? You can also add another industry over here or off of here, or in my case, I'm going to add one over here, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. Let's see, here we go. This is another one of my favorites. Even though it's an N-scale track plan, all you really have to do is double the size. And this wouldn't be hard to do it with, because I just want the basic track plan. That's what I like about this. I like the street running through, I like the corner here, I like the industry around here. The kind of indirect street running, it's not in the middle, it's not in the pavement, but it's kind of next to it. And that's always good for scenery. I like that. So what I'll do is I'll put this in to this layout, and I'll run it around over here. So I'll have a loop over here going for this stuff. Just a regular loop, but I'll include this. So maybe I'll bring this track over a little bit and make this curve so I can have it run around the back and then open it up at the end. And that'll be my IHB subdivision, because I like Indiana Harbor Belt, BNSF, and Milwaukee Road. So I can have that running here. That way, I've got all the industries covered that I want, because I still need to have room for a paper mill, manufacturing district, and a couple other things that this would pretty well cover. I have my manufacturing here, or my paper mill. I could have my hydroelectric power manufacturing here, and then either a pipe manufacturer or just anything else over here. I don't need to have this mobile oil here. Another one is that I really like is this guy. This is pretty neat. I love this with the large structures, the road, service road, fence, and you get the bridge coming across. This would make a very nice detailed scene. You've got foliage, you've got a little retaining wall, you've got lampposts, so you could light this up. You could make this into a main street over here with buildings and a nice big sidewalk here. You can do whatever you want. But this is a really good inspirational picture for me that I intend to use. Let's go back here a little bit. Another picture I really like that I would like to use for a piece of my layout is this guy right here. This is Black River Junction. This is a junction, I believe, in Washington or somewhere up in the northeast, Washington or Oregon, with the Milwaukee Road and another short line. You've got a big yard here, you've got a little transfer area here, and then you've got the main lines, or a double main here, and you've got a little short line here, just a single track to an industry, and maybe it goes on. And you got another one over here that crosses over with the trestle. And it's just neat. I like that. This would give me my yard. This would give me my little place to shuffle around between railroads, a couple little industries. That covers more than what I want, and I can flex this around to my needs. Let's see, another one is this here. This is IHB in, I believe, Blue Island. Now, if you know anything about Blue Island, it's a great rail fanning spot. There is a ton of traffic, and there's a ton of trackage. You got a double track trestle here, double track trestle here. Obviously, you have one here, and then over in this direction, where this guy's heading, there is another, I believe, 2-track trestle going over these tracks. And then there's some more trackage off to the left here that we can't see as well. You can check out YouTube videos for Indiana Harbor Belt or Blue Island, and you'll see this in many of them. And it's unbelievable. You'll see everything: Indiana Railroad, IHB, BNSF, CP, CN, CSX, NS. You'll see all the big names and even some of the smaller ones around here. You'll even see a lot of old units like possibly DM&IR, some of the heritage units, Amtrak, Metra. You see a lot of cool stuff. I guess that's all I really had that's left to show you guys for that stuff. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. There's no limit to what you can do. But one of my Next things I want to talk about is rail fanning and safety. Just stay off the tracks, stay off the railroad property, don't touch your equipment, and you won't have any problems. The last thing you want to do is get arrested or get your name written down or start getting chased around because you look suspicious. If you don't have to, don't wear a hat and sunglasses. Don't wear, suspicious dark clothing and park in a strange way or on railroad property. If someone comes up to you or is standing around you, be friendly. People take notice of that. I mean, if a cop comes over and you get in your car and start going, he's going to think, okay, what's this guy up to? So just, be courteous, be kind, and think twice. If you're looking for some layout design elements that you like, Google is a great asset. I'll go here. You can Google anything you're looking for. Say you like Green Bay and Western or Chicago and Northwestern. Let's see, and then go to images. You got all kinds of cool stuff. You got steam engines, you got diesel locomotives. You got some really old school stuff here from the early 1900s. Nice picture of a rail yard. Here's a good picture. Let that clear up a little bit. And you could take this thing, blow it up. You could go find the blueprints from this yard. Model just some of these facilities here. Just get, like 2 or 3 tracks from the yard and get some of the facilities on either side for switching. And you could make a layout just out of that. You could do one for passenger service. Just have a couple of stations with the 400 running through or something. Or if you like steam, do some steam running. I think there's a few good, either Broadway Limited or Proto's got some Chicago Northwestern units out for steam engines. They've always had cool steam. I don't know any steam engine that isn't cool. But there's a lot of great opportunities for modeling out there, and you can do it on a budget. If you can do $50 or $100 a month, you can do a lot with that. I myself am going with Kato Track, which is very expensive. Even at my discounted rate, it's about $50 or $57 for a switch, and that's using the number 6 electric turnouts, so they're powered. But that's still a good chunk of money. I've had no derailments, no power issues, nothing with it. I really like that. I switched from Pico Track. I like Pico, but I like to be able to switch my track around. I don't want to be cutting it up every time I do that. So I can use Kato Track, get the plan to where I want it, use the elements or the design elements that I like, and do it that way. I think I've got just about everything covered that I wanted to for this video. I don't want to make it too long. But be specific with what you want. If you've ever written a paper for college or high school or even for work, if you had to do a thesis paper, do something like that for your railroad. Make a thesis statement. You want to focus on something. You want to make a target and a goal and stick to it. Follow through. If you like the Chicago Northwestern, Soo Line, Milwaukee Road, Union Pacific, Canadian National, whatever it is, pick a line, pick a city, pick a scene, pick some design elements that you want, and stick with it. Maybe you want to focus on some detail, or you want to focus on certain units that were used in a specific area. Maybe you just want a flashy layout with a lot of cool locomotives with working beacons and sound. Maybe you just want something to goof around with and operate, and something small works for you. That's fine. Do what makes you happy. Don't think that because you go to a show and you see someone with a brass model of this thing that you have to have it and then have the trackage to run this thing at full tilt and run it between stations with 5-minute intervals. No, if you like this model and you want it, you can buy it, set it on a shelf, do whatever. It's a hobby, and to each his or her own. They can do whatever they want. So if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them below. Please, any tips or advice for new modelers, post it on here. Anything I left out or should include in my next video, I'll be making another one this week. Let me know. I am very excited about my new layout pieces that I'm building. I'm building some modules. In fact, I'll show you here quick. I'm hoping to use this piece. I really like this. This is going to be the focal point of my layout where you can operate. You can run trains through, have cars stored on here. You can have 2 or 3 people operating this alone. I mean, this is a great, I think this is a really neat track plan. You've got your crossing over here. You have room to do anything you want. Expand and expound on this thing as you like. I want to do a paper mill, so I'm going to need a Green Bay and Western transfer caboose to go with my RS11. Blueford Chops is doing a wonderful job along with Fox Valley Models in producing these. Fox Valley, I believe, is handling just the Milwaukee Road and HO. And then Blueford is doing IHB and pretty much everything else in HO for transfer cabooses. They had them at the N-Scale convention recently in 2012, or excuse me, for 2013 this year up in Milwaukee. And they're beautiful models. They're well weighted. I can't wait to get my hands on some. So here's another little interesting layout. If you just want a little quick run through, you've got your runaround tracks, your industries here. I mean, there's nothing you can't do. Here's another track plan. This is what it looks like before, without the finished product. This is just a rough plan on paper, or actually this is a pretty detailed plan on paper. You know, put your car in here, back up with a car and locomotive, put your stuff in here, run around, grab your train. You got tracks over here. And let's see. Where is it? Here. This is what it looks like as the finished product. This is a very nice, well-planned layout. You got plenty of room for your, you got freight. You can have a short, like a 40-foot freight car here, and have room for another short freight car and a locomotive here, or you can pull that one out, put it in there, back up in here. A little trestle going off to another piece of the layout, an industry, a little crossover, a couple more here. It's just a nice little quaint layout with plenty to do. This picture I really like. I plan on incorporating this into that layout I showed you before. This is just Green Bay and Western going through a parking lot like it's nobody's business. Just a couple of boxcars from the industries down the street, so there's probably some street running. And here's a really nice little shelf layout. It's very detailed. You've got grass, ballast up to the ties, really good loads, good weathering. You've got a passenger station right here, street, some businesses. And it's just a nice small shelf layout, one locomotive, got about maybe a dozen freight cars there together. That's all you need. If you're just looking to have fun and you want detail over a huge, quality over quantity, this is all you need. This is beautiful. You could take pictures of this all the time, do little storylines with people going around in different areas. This is a wonderful little layout. It is absolutely beautiful. I would be proud to have this. But over here, I've actually got written out parking lot. Trains will go through here. And then over here, have some street running. And I actually like to do this scene right here that I showed you earlier with the retaining wall, the tall buildings, and then the little street going through here, and that street could lead right into this. And that overpass might go over this track right here. That would be a great little area. So I could have a lot of detail crammed into this space. And there's a good bit in here now. I could have the street coming through here into the parking lot, and this is the parking lot for the businesses and industries along here, and a train station, and then have that street running or that street come along here. I mean, there's so much you could do with just this, and I really look forward to it. Unfortunately, with Kato Unitrack, just in switches, this section here would cost me about $1,300 in switches. Mind you, they're all motorized, but that does not include all the equipment required to operate those switches. That's just the motorized switches themselves. So I'd still need probably a couple of curved pieces, and then obviously a lot of straight track. And I probably have enough curved track and then enough straight track to do a chunk of this, or a couple lines of it, but it's still going to take me a couple years to get everything together. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated, and hopefully have another video for you guys in the next week or so with an update on my layout and where I'm going from there. I'm adding a yard to it. I'll have the bench work up for that soon, and then I might get started on the modules for this. We'll see what happens. So until then, everyone take care and happy railroading.